Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the first official episode of the Good News Feed. I'm sorry it took me this long to get you an episode, but I was struggling with ways of how to present the show properly, working on like an intro, things like that, while still trying to keep it simplistic because I want to be able to produce these videos at least on a somewhat regular basis. My target right now is at least to get you an episode every other day. Ideally, I'd like to go daily. But I think a lot of that is just going to depend on what kind of things I can find to talk about. And then I was struggling with what I wanted to talk about on the first episode. I wanted to keep this a very positive and light show. So obviously, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to keep each episode limited, cut down to just one particular news story, and throw in some other things like memes and things along the way. This episode, there was kind of an elephant in the room of what story I should pick, and obviously that would be the pipeline. The Army Corps of Engineers will not immediately grant the Dakota Access Pipeline the right to cross the Missouri River next to the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation. This is definitely a good thing to celebrate. Even some of the Indians were quoted as saying that this is a this was a time that government actually worked and the American people came together and they really felt like Americans today. And I think that's definitely worth mentioning. But once again, though, this is just a temporary win. The war hasn't been won yet, so let's just keep them in our thoughts. And now, with the pipeline story, I had a few ins and outs on that one, whether I even wanted to talk about it or not. Ultimately, I'm going to stay away from the larger news stories because obviously you guys have probably already heard these. I want to kind of focus on more of the hard to find stories. I don't want to get overly political though. It's like even with the tribal thing, you have people on both sides. You got people supporting, the Indians and stopping the pipeline, but you have those other people on the other side who argue that the pipeline should run through there, like this.
Oil pipelines create jobs. I mean, just look at all these guys.
But ultimately, if the story is down to an issue where if you don't support it, you're just an a-hole, well, then I might mention the story anyway. Um, it's just kind of difficult these days because everybody's always so offended and everything. It's the purpose of the show in the first place because we're all just so nasty and mean, and we get on people's posts and say things that we feel safe saying behind our keyboards. It's almost like a way we're being brought up. But I have to tell you, I will make posts like what's our new president-elect Trump. I won't make any posts or anything that like are against Trump or anti-Trump posts or pro-Trump posts or anything like that. But if I come across something like this,
That it's an image you just can't scrub out of your mind once you've seen it. It's something that once seen can't be unseen, and I find it kind of neat. Then yeah,
then I feel that's okay to talk about. Because if you don't find that funny or humorous at all, then you probably shouldn't be watching this show to begin with. Um, People ultimately just need to learn to chill out. And besides the point, not all bad people are, inertly evil. I mean, let's take people
like Grand Moff Tarkin. For all of his flaws, he reduced the unemployment on Alderaan to zero. Sometimes all evil people need, is a little love. And I think some guys just look for love in Alderaan places.
So stupid.
but all bad jokes aside.
Every girl deserves a guy that could make her smile, even when she doesn't want to.
Now, with the pipeline story being, so over the top right now and just about everywhere at this point that you go, I'm still going to highlight one news story that comes out of Utah, Channel 5, KLS. Very small story. It's got a little bit of attention on the internet, and I feel that it deserves a little bit more attention. So in this particular story,
This is a story about an older guy named Rick, and he's been working at McDonald's for a number of years, and he's kind of a special little individual. He works the back register in drive-through every day, and he takes a few extra seconds out of each order to talk to the customer, to try to get to know their names over time, and talk to them, and just treat them generally the way that you yourself would like to be treated. And what wound up happening is he became sick. He got a brain tumor, and he had to go get that treated and radiation and things. And some of the customers had noticed that he wasn't at work. So one lady in particular asked what had happened to him, and when she found out what had happened, what he was going through, she made a Facebook post. And was overwhelmed that in one night they got like something 166 comments in one night of how many people in that town knew who Rick was and actually appreciated him. And one day, when he finally came back to work, while he was working the back register, they organized this big surprise for him that he didn't know was going to be going on, and it was a really large turnout, which was surprising. And of course, they gave him a basket with some of his favorite items and things, but they raised enough money to give him a check for $5,000 to help him, with all his medical bills and everything. And I just think that's just a really great and heart-touching story of how, just by taking just a few seconds, each day when you're talking to somebody to recognize them and acknowledge them and treat them with respect, how much of an impact that can have on people's lives.
I just love that old guy. He's just so cute. But it's getting to the point in my life where I don't even like to say old guy anymore. Because
I hate it when I see an old person and then realize that we went to high school together.
but there are some advantages to getting older. We have things that kids in school today aren't being taught. So in those kinds of situations,
Someday we old folks will use cursive writing as a secret code.
and with that in mind, I'd like to keep these episodes kind of short. I really would definitely like to keep them under the 10-minute mark because I know people only have so much time a day these days. It's just go, 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 go. And it is getting close to dinner time. Unfortunately, I wanted to have these episodes out in the morning, but the first episode just didn't come out that way. But hopefully, the next one I will have out during the day. It's getting to be dinner time, and as you know, I am getting older.
So, I'm trying to eat more healthier and, trying to cut carbs.
Things could always be worse because I could be having things for dinner like,
Boneless stuffed butthole.
but just be grateful for what you have because
You could always be what's on the menu.
this would be a fitting ending for myself because.
I'm confident my last words will be, are you fucking kidding me?
So if you liked this video, would you please take the time to click the like button below the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel because I really don't want to have to go back to my old way of life.
Or having to sell all of my personal items on eBay.
And what I'll do when I release these videos on the Facebook page for the Good News Feed, I will actually put the videos that I highlight in my show. I'll put the full videos in the comment section along with any of the memes and things that I use. So if there's one in particular that you really liked and you'd like to share with your friends, you could do it that way. But I would appreciate it if you would share this video on your page and try to help get it out there. I want to keep this kind of fun. So with that in mind, I'm going to sign off now, and everybody have a good night.